Dear soul, welcome Zen Buddhism. If you're hearing these words, chances are you've had a long day. Maybe your mind is still restless, still turning over the things left undone, the questions without answers, the noise that doesn't seem to stop. Or maybe you're not even sure what you're tired from. You just feel something heavy inside, and a quiet wish to rest, to be held, to be allowed to let go. If you're still holding your phone, you can set it down now. You've done enough for today. There's nothing more you need to check. Nowhere else you need to be. Just lie down. Let your body sink into the surface beneath you, and allow yourself, just for this moment, to be held by the stillness. Let me be here with you. You don't have to understand everything I say. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to try hard at all. Just lying here and listening is already enough. In fact, simply by listening, your body and your breath may begin to remember what it feels like to be calm, to be safe, to be at home within yourself. And you might not even notice, but you're already practicing a kind of meditation. Not the kind where you sit still and concentrate, but the softer kind, the quiet kind, where healing happens without effort. You know, there are people all over the world right now who feel just like you do. People in busy cities and silent villages. People lying awake with the same invisible weight on their chest. People who also wonder why rest feels so far away. And even though you may be far apart, you are not alone. Because this tiredness, this quiet longing for peace, it's something we all carry in our own way. This isn't a lecture. It's more like a gentle conversation with a few soft Zen stories, light as leaves falling onto still water. And though they may seem simple, they hold something deep, something that might meet you right where you are. We'll step into the world of old monks who have learned to smile at the dark, who know how to let go, how to live lightly, and how to sleep deeply, like mountains under moonlight. And if you can't sleep yet, that's okay too. You don't need to force anything. Just be here. Just allow yourself to rest. Now, we begin. He was in his early 40s, working in finance, living in a fast-paced American city where no one really paused long enough to notice how tired they were. Every day began early and ended late, filled with meetings, unread emails, market updates, and the quiet pressure of needing to stay ahead. Sleep had become a problem, not insomnia exactly, but a restless state where the body lay still, but the mind kept sprinting. The moment he closed his eyes, his thoughts came alive. They raced through worst-case scenarios, financial outcomes, the future of his kids, his aging parents, the economy, his career. Even when nothing was wrong, his mind found something to worry about. He tried what most people try: herbal teas, blue light blockers, expensive sleep supplements, podcasts with ocean waves and guided relaxation. Some nights, he would drift off, but the sleep felt shallow, as if he never fully surrendered. Morning always arrived too soon, and he woke up already tired. It wasn't always like this. He remembered times, maybe in college or right after, when falling asleep was simple. No effort, no routine, just a pillow and the comfort of not needing to control everything. But now, he was the one holding everything. The provider, the planner, the protector. He couldn't afford to rest. One Thursday evening, after a particularly heavy workday, he decided to stop by the gym. It was more out of obligation than motivation. People say exercise helps with stress. And maybe, just maybe, it would wear him out enough to sleep. He walked on the treadmill for half an hour, barely breaking a sweat, showered, and changed into clean clothes. But what he remembered most vividly wasn't the gym itself. It was the walk home. He left the building carrying his gym bag, a large black duffel stuffed with damp clothes, shoes, a water bottle, and other odds and ends. It wasn't unusually heavy, but that night, it felt different. The weight of it pulled on his shoulder in a way that made him aware of how tired he truly was. The sidewalk was quiet, lined with trees and flickering street lamps. Just a 5-minute walk to his apartment, but each step made him more aware of the strain on his back, the pull in his arm. He kept switching sides, trying to ease the discomfort, but it didn't help. Eventually, he spotted a small wooden bench just off the path in a nearby park. He sat down and dropped the bag beside him with a quiet thud. He closed his eyes, let out a long breath. Something about that moment, sitting alone on a quiet street, with a uselessly heavy bag beside him, triggered a realization. The bag wasn't even that important. It was just stuff. And yet, he had insisted on carrying it all the way home without question, like it was something he owed himself to do. He looked at the bag, then back at the sidewalk, then up at the sky. How many things am I carrying that I don't need to? It wasn't just the gym bag. It was the constant scanning of what could go wrong, the need to be prepared, the guilt when he didn't feel productive, the future always looming, the fear of slowing down, the belief that rest had to be earned. No wonder he couldn't sleep. He didn't suddenly become enlightened or float into bliss, but he sat there longer than planned. He let the weight drain from his shoulders. He noticed the tension in his jaw, the clenching of his hands, the way his breath had been shallow without him realizing. And for once, he didn't try to solve it. He just breathed. It wasn't a strategy. It wasn't meditation. It was simply sitting on a bench with no immediate goal and letting the world keep spinning without his help. Eventually, he stood up. This time, He didn't sling the bag over his shoulder. He held it by the strap, letting it dangle by his side. Lighter, now somehow. When he got home, he didn't turn on the news. He didn't check email. He didn't even scroll his phone. He drank a glass of water, took a warm shower, and lay down. His thoughts were still there, but softer. They didn't demand his attention. He imagined setting the gym bag down again, only this time it wasn't clothes inside. It was worries, pressure, self-expectation, fear. And as he exhaled, he pictured letting it go. The truth was never about the world being too heavy. It was about how tightly he had been holding it. Now, if you're listening tonight, you might feel your own version of that bag, the invisible load that presses on your mind, even when your body wants rest, even when you're lying down and everything around you is finally quiet. The thoughts keep moving, the planning, the fixing, the remembering, the worrying. They don't know how to stop. Not yet. And maybe that's okay. You don't need to fight it. You don't need to fix it. Not right now. Just notice it. Just breathe. Just let your awareness wrap gently around that tension, like soft hands holding something fragile. Imagine that bag now resting on the floor beside you. Can you feel its weight slowly leaving your body? The pressure easing off your shoulders. Each thought like a stone placed inside that bag. Every deadline, every unfinished conversation, every moment you replay in your head, they're all sitting in there, crowding your peace. But they don't have to stay there tonight. Now, begin to let them go, one by one, as if you're carefully removing stones from that bag. A meeting that didn't go as planned, gone. A bill you forgot to pay, gone. A fear about the future gently lifted out and set beside you. You are not your fears. You are not your schedule. You are not your to-do list. Inhale slowly and exhale even slower. Feel your shoulders soften just a bit more. Your jaw loosens. Your neck lengthens without effort. Your face doesn't need to hold anything. Neither does your heart. There is no pressure here. No performance. No right or wrong way to rest. Just you. And this breath. And the quiet arrival of safety. Feel your body. Feel the ground holding you. Notice how the bed, the chair, the floor, whatever supports you, asks nothing of you. It simply stays. Steady. Quiet. Patient. Like the earth beneath your life. Always there. Always enough. With each breath, let more of yourself drop into this support. Your spine softening. Your chest opening just slightly. Your arms at ease. Your legs heavy and warm. And your mind beginning to trust that it can let go. There's nothing you need to do right now. nowhere to go, no one to impress, nothing to explain. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply here. And that is enough. Let the thoughts drift by like clouds in a wide sky. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to judge them. Just watch them float until even that watching becomes too much, and all that's left is breathing. Gentle, slow, safe. You can return to the bag tomorrow if you need to. It will still be there. But for now, for this one night, let it rest. Let it be something you no longer carry, at least for a while. Let your body melt into stillness. Let your breath become the only thing that moves. And as your thoughts fade further and further away, know that this is the beginning of peace. She had imagined silence. That was what she bought when she signed the lease. Peace, distance, quiet. After years of apartment living in the heart of the city, with honking cars, late night arguments, elevators dinging at odd hours, she thought a quieter place would finally let her sleep. She found a small condo just outside town, tucked between rows of trees and slow streets. It wasn't big, but it promised a stillness. No sirens, no buses, no college parties downstairs, just stillness. She moved in on a Thursday. The first night, she sat on her new couch, barefoot, a warm cup of tea between her hands, and listened. The silence almost felt foreign, like stepping into a strange, too clean room in someone else's house. It was the first time in years she didn't hear the low hum of city life, just the clock ticking. Just the heater breathing once in a while. That night, she expected sleep to come easily. She turned off the lights, lay down, pulled the blanket to her chin, and waited. But sleep didn't come. Her body was still. Her eyes were closed. But her mind had its own plans. Thoughts began to pile up like people in a crowded room. Did she email her boss back? Should she repaint the bathroom? Why hadn't her brother returned her call? What if she was making a mistake? With work? With this move? With everything? The silence didn't quiet her. It exposed her. The next morning, she was groggy and irritated. Maybe it was just the stress of the move. She told herself. Maybe she'd sleep better the next night. But the next night came. And again, her eyes stayed open long after midnight. She turned on soft music, then turned it off. She made chamomile tea, then poured it down the sink. She opened the window for air, then closed it again when a dog barked in the distance. Everything outside was calm. Everything inside was not. She started to notice it more. The contrast between her outer world and her inner one. She would walk the neighborhood in the morning, past empty streets and freshly cut lawns. Everything looked so composed, but she didn't feel composed. She felt like a shaken bottle, one more thought away from bursting. Her body was tired, but her mind wouldn't stop. She missed the city in a strange way, not for its chaos, but because it had always given her something to blame. The noise, the traffic, the neighbors. There had always been a reason she couldn't rest. But now, there was nothing left to blame. One night, a few weeks in, she sat up in bed. It was nearly 2. Ma. The room was dark and utterly quiet. She could hear the faint ticking of the thermostat, the stretch of the wood settling, but nothing more. And yet, her chest felt tight. Her jaw was sore from clenching. Her thoughts had tangled themselves into a knot she couldn't untie. She put her feet on the floor, walked slowly to the window, and looked out. The street below was still. The porch light of the neighbor's house glowed softly. Everything was so still. She whispered out loud, to no one in particular, "Why am I still so loud inside?" It surprised her, the way that sentence felt in her mouth. Loud inside. That's what it was. The noise hadn't followed her from the city. It had always been inside her. The city had just made it easier to pretend it came from somewhere else. But now, there were no horns, no footsteps above her, no conversations through thin walls. Just her, and the static hum of her own mind. She stayed at the window for a while, watching nothing in particular, and something subtle shifted. Not a sudden peace, not a miracle, just a kind of soft honesty. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't trying to escape the noise. She was just noticing it. And that noticing felt different. It didn't fix anything. Not right away. But it was the beginning of something. Over the following days, she didn't try to silence her thoughts. She didn't try to outrun them. She began walking in the evening, just before dark, through the quiet streets, not with music in her ears, not with a podcast playing, just walking, listening, letting the thoughts rise and fall like wind through leaves, sometimes sharp, sometimes soft, but always moving. At night, she still heard them, the worries, the doubts, but she stopped fighting them. She let them sit beside her, like guests that didn't need attention. And in that simple act of allowing, something softened. The volume didn't go away, but it didn't dominate her anymore. It was just part of the room, part of the evening, part of her. It took weeks, but one night, without realizing it, she fell asleep before midnight. No tea, no fan, no distractions, just the quiet. outside and in. And in the morning, when she woke, she smiled to herself. Not because everything was solved, but because she had stopped trying to solve everything. She had stopped needing the world to be quiet in order to feel quiet herself. And so, the silence she came here looking for, the stillness she thought would arrive wrapped in geography and good choices, it had never been out there, waiting. It had always been something she'd have to meet inside. If the world around you feels quiet tonight, but your mind is still noisy, you're not alone. You may have turned off every device, drawn the curtains, silenced your phone, but still, something inside keeps spinning. It's okay. You don't have to force it away. You don't have to quiet everything all at once. You only need to begin with one small thing: your breath. Let your body begin to rest. Place your phone away if you haven't already. Settle into your bed. Feel the fabric beneath you, the softness of the pillow, the stillness in the room. You don't need to do anything else now. Take a slow breath in and a slower breath out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. As you do, start to listen, not to the world around you, but to the world inside. Listen to the soft sound of your breath, like the gentle ripple of a stream moving through a forest at night. It doesn't try to be silent. It simply flows. No rush, no noise, just movement and peace. Let your breath be like that stream, flowing softly through you and with you. Inhale. Feel the air enter like cool water. Exhale. Feel it leave like a wave returning to the shore. Let it comfort you. Let it carry you. If a thought comes, let it pass like a leaf floating on the surface. Don't chase it. Don't judge it. Just let it drift by. Then return, always, to the sound of your own breath. Maybe you can hear it now more clearly. That little stream within. Not loud. Not trying to prove anything. Just steady. Just present. Just enough. This sound belongs to you. It has always been here. Even when everything else was loud. Even when the city never slept. Even when your heart was full of worry. This breath has been here, waiting for you to come back. So keep listening. Let the air move through your nose, your chest, your belly. Let the sound of your breath remind you that you are alive and safe. And still, if the mind grows busy again, that's okay. Let it wander for a moment, and then gently, kindly, return. Return to the stream. Return to the flow. Return to the only thing that matters right now. This breath, this moment, this peace. You don't need complete silence to rest. You only need to feel that something inside you is softening, that something inside you is letting go, that something inside you is becoming still. Inhale slowly and exhale even slower. You are floating now. Nothing is urgent. Nothing is unfinished. There is only the breath, the sound of a stream in the dark, and you. Finally, gently, drifting into rest. He had always been a man of schedules. Every night, before bed, he checked his sleep tracker app, adjusted the brightness on his phone, set his alarms, 3 of them, and made sure his smartwatch was charging properly. His entire evening routine was calibrated down to the minute. No late screens, no caffeine, no surprises. He believed that controlling time was the same as controlling rest. If he just got it all right, sleep would obey. And yet, most nights, he lay awake, sometimes just staring at the blinking dots on his digital clock. Other times scrolling through forums on why sleep wouldn't come. He would glance at the time every 10 minutes. Each glance, a small panic. Too late now. Not enough hours left. If I fall asleep now, I'll only get 5 hours. Then 4. Then 2. His nights became math problems. And sleep something to be earned through precision. But on this night, something unexpected happened. He had fallen asleep reading in bed, phone in hand, charger unplugged. When he woke up briefly in the middle of the night, as he often did, the room felt unusually quiet. Still, he reached for his phone like always. Nothing. The screen was black. Dead. He sat up, suddenly alert. The digital clock beside his bed had gone off too. Likely a power outage. No smartwatch. No glowing digits. No way to know what time it was. The darkness pressed around him. Was it midnight? 2 a.m.? Had he been asleep for 10 minutes or 5 hours? His first instinct was panic. His chest tightened. What if he overslept? What if he missed work? What if his sleep schedule was now ruined? But in that very moment, another thought emerged. Soft and strange. What if he didn't need to know? He lay back down slowly. There was no buzzing device in his hand. No blue light on his face. No ticking clock. Just darkness. Just the soft thump of his heart. Just the quiet hum of the world at rest. He listened. Not to any external sound. The traffic had long died down, and the fridge wasn't humming. But to something inside, his own breath, his heartbeat, the sensation of his back against the mattress, of the covers pulled up around him. Time didn't seem to matter here. There were no numbers to chase, no alarms waiting, no data to record. Just the present moment, full and complete. He took a slow breath and another, His body began to sink into the bed. Something in him loosened. A tension he hadn't known he carried. A grip on control that slowly unclenched. He didn't know how long he lay there like that. But it didn't matter. Because at some point, without thinking, without effort, he drifted off. And for the first time in a very long while, he slept. Not to earn rest, not to meet a goal, not to track improvement. He just slept. Deeply, naturally, fully. The next morning, light touched the curtains, and he opened his eyes with no alarm to tell him it was time. He felt rested, not because of perfect timing or data, but because, for one night, he had let go. Sometimes, it's the broken routines that set us free. Sometimes, the best sleep begins not when we try harder, but when we surrender. Because the truth is, time never owns sleep. The present moment does, and peace lives in the space where we finally stop counting and simply begin being. There is no clock ticking now, no glowing screen beside your bed, no number to chase or hour to fear. The night is no longer divided into tasks or deadlines. It simply is, and you are here with it. Not early, not late, not ahead or behind, just here. You are not being measured, not by hours, not by progress, not by anyone at all. This moment asks nothing of you. It gives you space, space to breathe, to soften, to simply be. Close your eyes, if you haven't already, or just soften your gaze. Loosen the muscles around your eyes. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. Notice how the world has grown quiet and how your body slowly begins to trust this stillness. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Slowly. Fully. And exhale gently through your mouth, like a wave returning to the ocean. Again. Inhale deeply, as if time no longer matters, and exhale even slower, as if the night will wait for you. Feel your weight sinking into the bed. Feel how the air around you holds you. Warm, steady, safe. There is no need to reach for your phone. No need to know what time it is. No need to check anything. Let go of the clock. Let go of the idea that rest must follow a schedule. You are not behind on anything. You are not late to sleep. You are exactly where you are meant to be. With each breath, your body softens a little more. Your thoughts slow. Your heart grows quieter. Let your attention drift to the sound of your breath, like a stream in the forest at night. Soft, gentle, consistent. No need to fix anything. No need to try. Just listen. Just breathe. The night does not need to be controlled. It needs to be felt. It needs to be trusted. Let go of doing. Let go of knowing. Let go of counting. You are not here to improve. You are here to return to this body, to this quiet, to this breath. Not dark, not light, just you. Breathing, just you. Safe, just you. Whole. You are not waiting for sleep. You are already resting. You are already arriving. This moment holds everything you need. Inhale slowly and exhale like a sigh of relief. The kind of exhale that says, I no longer need to hold on. Stay with this rhythm. Let your breath be your guide. And if your thoughts return, that's okay. Just come back again, and again, and again. Sleep is not something you chase. It's something you allow, like a bird landing gently on your shoulder. It comes when you are soft, when you are open, when you are here, and you are here now, peacefully, quietly, completely. Just keep breathing. She had waited months for this trip, saved every bit of spare time and energy, made arrangements with her sister to watch the kids, cleared her calendar with her manager, and booked a small hotel by the coast where no one knew her name. The idea of escape had become a quiet fantasy she carried through school drop-offs and late-night laundry cycles. A soft whisper saying, just a few more weeks and you'll be free. Now she was here, alone. The ocean in front of her, wide and open and impossibly blue. The air smelled of salt and wind, and seagulls traced slow circles above the water. Her toes sank into the sand, warm and smooth. And yet, inside her chest, nothing felt open. No freedom, no lightness. Only the buzz of leftover tension, the dull ache of things unfinished, the constant flicker of thoughts that would not go away. She sat in a beach chair with her phone turned face down beside her. The sound of waves should have been enough, but she found herself scrolling anyway, looking at pictures of the kids, even though she had told herself she needed space. Checking for emails even though she had set an out-of-office reply. Her mind refused to let go. It clung to a dozen threads at once. What if Sam forgot the allergy medicine? What if the school called? What if her boss needed something? What if her husband noticed she hadn't texted back? She closed her eyes and tried to breathe. One breath in, two, but the thoughts kept spinning, looping around her like wind refusing to calm. She had thought the ocean would quiet her, that the vastness would drown the noise inside. But instead, it only seemed to amplify the contrast, showing her how far away peace still was. The scenery was perfect, but she was not. Later that afternoon, She walked along the shoreline. Her feet sank into the wet sand, each step leaving a soft print that the waves slowly erased. She watched how the ocean moved, rising, falling, rolling, retreating. It never stayed still. The surface rippled constantly, sometimes crashing, sometimes whispering, never silent. But beneath all that motion, there was something else. She stopped walking and just stood there, watching. A thought, simple but honest, passed through her like a breeze. The surface is always moving, she realized, but the depth remains calm. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. She had never thought about the ocean that way before. And maybe, just maybe, it could be the same for her. She turned back and sat in the sand, not bothering to dust it off or find a towel. Just sat there, legs stretched, arms loose at her sides. Her breath was still fast, her thoughts still bouncing from one concern to the next. But now she noticed it differently. She didn't try to push them away. She just let them be, like the tide, like wind, like ripples on the water. Temporary, not the whole truth. As the sun dipped lower, casting soft gold across the waves, she stayed still. And in that stillness, something shifted. The thoughts didn't stop, but they slowed. The emotions didn't vanish, but they softened. She didn't have to fight her way back to herself. She only had to stop trying so hard. And suddenly, beneath all that noise, she could feel it, the part of her that had always been quiet. The part of her that didn't need to be fixed, or solved, or improved. It had been there all along. She had just forgotten how to notice it. She thought about her kids, about her husband, about the pressure she always carried to be everything to everyone. She thought about how tired she had become, chasing perfection, chasing calm, chasing rest. And now, looking out at the horizon, she understood something new. She didn't need to go to a perfect place to find peace. She didn't need silence from the world to feel whole. Peace wasn't in the ocean, or the sand, or the quiet. It was in her. Whenever she stopped running, she smiled softly. Not because everything was solved, but because she had finally stopped searching. The waves kept moving. The wind kept shifting. And she remained there, breathing, watching, simply being. For the first time in a long while, that was enough. The ocean didn't ask her to be calm. It didn't demand stillness. It simply showed her that motion and peace could live side by side, that the surface could ripple while the depth remained still, and that maybe she could too. The trip was only a few days, but it would stay with her, not as a vacation, but as a reminder that she didn't have to escape her life to find herself. She only needed to return to the part of her that remembered how to breathe, how to watch, how to be. And so she sat. As the tide rolled in, as the sky turned lavender, as the day faded, not trying to capture the moment, not trying to hold on to it, just sitting, letting it be, letting herself be, not perfect, not finished, but fully present. That, she realized, was what peace really was. Close your eyes and let the darkness be gentle tonight. Not something to fear, but something that holds you like a warm blanket, wrapping around your shoulders, soft and familiar. This is not the darkness of being alone, but the kind that welcomes you home, like the night sky watching over the earth, steady and vast, and full of quiet knowing. Feel your body resting where you are. Maybe you're lying down. Maybe you're curled on your side. Feel the weight of your limb, the heaviness that means you are safe enough to let go. Nothing is being asked of you now. No task, no words, no one to be for anyone. Just this quiet moment, just this breath. Breathe in slowly, Sama, as if you are receiving something not air, but love like a memory from long ago. The way someone used to pull you close, or hum softly while you drifted. Feel that again, not as a thought, but as a warmth across your chest. Maybe it spreads into your arms. Maybe it settles behind your eyes. Like tears you don't need to cry. Let yourself be held tonight, not by anyone in particular, but by something real. Maybe it's the rhythm of your breath, or the way your heart keeps beating for you without needing thanks. Maybe it's the softness of the pillow, or the stillness of the room. This is not about imagining safety. This is safety here and now. The room is quiet. The breath is steady. Your body is doing only what it needs to do to rest and heal. And feel you don't have to reach for comfort, because it's already here. Inhale again, slowly, and let it be a reminder of what it felt like to be rocked as a child, or to be told you are good just as you are. Maybe you can feel the echo of that voice, not in words, but in the quiet reassurance of your own breath. Exhale slowly, as if letting go of the idea that you have to earn peace or deserve rest. You are resting now because you are here, and you are human, and you are loved. Let your shoulders drop a little more, your hands soften, your spine gently sink into the surface beneath you. Imagine that the air around you is a gentle arm, curved behind your back, that the night itself is whispering. You're not alone. You don't need to light anything, not a lamp, not a screen, not even a thought. You are allowed to be here, in the dark, and be okay. Maybe even more than okay. Maybe the darkness has been waiting to show you how much light there already is inside you. Let each breath bring a deeper quiet, not the silence of emptiness, but the stillness of being seen and not needing to explain anything, not even to yourself. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just come back to this feeling, the way your chest rises and falls, the way the breath reminds you, you are here, you are safe, you are loved, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are simply tired, and that is human and forgivable and worthy of kindness. So let this be the place where you rest. Not just your body, but your worries and your stories and the parts of you that try so hard. Let yourself be the child. For once, the one who is held and understood and rocked by the rhythm of breath in the gentleness of night. You are home now, not in a place, but in a feeling, a truth, a softness you didn't know you needed until it arrived quietly, without asking. Breathe and rest and let the night hold you just like that. One summer night, in a small room, just big enough for two people, the man lay still, listening to the breath of the child beside him. Short and trembling breaths, like the fluttering of a baby bird trying to learn how to sleep peacefully. The boy had woken up in the middle of the night from a nightmare, his small face still wet with tears. His tiny hands were gripping his father's shirt, as if holding on to the only safe harbor left after the storm of fear. The father whispered soft words, not rushing to turn on the light, not dismissing the fear as something silly, but simply wrapped his arms tighter around the boy, close enough for the child to hear the beating of his father's heart, close enough to feel the truth of being held. The room still held the warmth of the day, but night had fully taken over. Outside the window were the quiet sounds of the outer city, a distant car, the rhythm of insects singing like an old song, familiar and faint. The father didn't fall back asleep immediately. He looked up at the ceiling and felt his own kind of fragility, a tiredness that sank into his bones, not from work, not from his son's crying, but from a deep loneliness that had no name, a loneliness no one ever taught him how to hold, the way he was holding his child now. Then the boy's voice rose, just a whisper, barely more than a breath. "Daddy, where's the light?" The father paused. The question was so innocent, yet so real. He reached out halfway toward the bedside lamp, thinking of how its soft yellow glow could push the shadows back, but then stopped. His eyes dropped to the boy's face. Chubby cheeks, long wet lashes, and in that moment, He felt like a child himself. Like he too had once asked that same question and never really heard an answer. Or maybe he hadn't been ready to hear it. He pulled his son closer, placed a hand over the boy's chest, and felt the tiny heartbeat beneath, steady and miraculous, and whispered, "Right here. The light is inside your chest, and it never goes out." The boy said nothing, just tucked himself deeper into his father's embrace, as if those words were another kind of hug, a kind of glow no lamp could offer, something invisible and warm that lit them both from the inside out. In that moment, the father felt comforted too, not because the child had stopped crying, not because the room was finally quiet, but because of the words he had just spoken. They weren't just for the boy. They were a reminder to himself that sometimes what we need most isn't a light from the outside, but a gentleness from within, a heartbeat that matches our own, a breath that reminds us we are not alone. He lay still, no longer thinking about tomorrow's work, no longer turning over the endless list of to-dos. In that dark little room, two hearts beat together, one large and one small, but both learning how to sleep in peace, how to trust the invisible light, how to stop fearing the night. The child slowly drifted off, his breathing softer now, hand still clutching his father's shirt, and the man stayed awake just a bit longer, thinking about how many times he had tried to run from darkness, filling it with noise, with screens, with distractions, anything to forget the silence. But now, in this dark room, without needing to be strong, without pretending to be fine, he found a kind of softness he hadn't known he was missing. The darkness didn't feel threatening anymore. It was just a blanket spread over the world, a space for everything to quiet down, for a father and a child to lie beside each other, saying nothing more, just being there, just breathing together. And in that stillness, he understood the light had never gone out. It had always been there, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be named by love, by presence, by a whispered answer in the night. Close your eyes and let the darkness be gentle tonight. Not something to fear, but something that holds you like a warm blanket wrapping around your shoulders. Soft and familiar. This is not the darkness of being alone, but the kind that welcomes you home. Like the night sky watching over the earth. Steady and vast and full of quiet knowing. Feel your body resting where you are. Maybe you're lying down. Maybe you're curled on your side. Feel the weight of your limbs, the heaviness that means you are safe enough to let go. Nothing is being asked of you now. No task, no words, no one to be for anyone. Just this quiet moment, just this breath. Breathe in slowly, as if you are receiving something. not air, but love, like a memory from long ago. The way someone used to pull you close, or hum softly while you drifted. Feel that again, not as a thought, but as a warmth across your chest. Maybe it spreads into your arms. Maybe it settles behind your eyes like tears you don't need to cry. Let yourself be held tonight, not by anyone in particular, but by something real. Maybe it's the rhythm of your breath, or the way your heart keeps beating for you without needing thanks. Maybe it's the softness of the pillow, or the stillness of the room. This is not about imagining safety. This is safety. Here and now. The room is quiet. The breath is steady. Your body is doing only what it needs to do, to rest and heal and feel. You don't have to reach for comfort, because it's already here. Inhale again, slowly, and let it be a reminder of what it felt like to be rocked as a child, or to be told you are good, just as you are. Maybe you can feel the echo of that voice, not in words, but in the quiet reassurance of your own breath. Exhale slowly, as if letting go of the idea that you have to earn peace or deserve rest. You are resting now because you are here, and you are human, and you are loved. Let your shoulders drop a little more, your hands soften, your spine gently sink into the surface beneath you. Imagine that the air around you is a gentle arm curved behind your back, that the night itself is whispering. You're not alone. You don't need to light anything. Not a lamp. Not a screen. Not even a thought. You are allowed to be here, in the dark, and be okay. Maybe even more than okay. Maybe the darkness has been waiting to show you how much light there already is inside you. Let each breath bring a deeper quiet, not the silence of emptiness, but the stillness of being seen and not needing to explain anything, not even to yourself. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just come back to this feeling, the way your chest rises and falls, the way the breath reminds you, you are here, you are safe, you are loved, you are not broken, you are not behind, you are simply tired. And that is human and forgivable and worthy of kindness. So let this be the place where you rest. Not just your body, but your worries and your stories and the parts of you that try so hard. Let yourself be the child for once, the one who is held and understood and rocked by the rhythm of breath and the gentleness of night. You are home now, not in a place, but in a feeling, a truth, a softness you didn't know you needed until it arrived quietly, without asking. Breathe and rest, and let the night hold you, just like that. She had tried everything she could think of. Every trick and tip the internet offered. Every suggestion from well-meaning friends. She had switched out her pillows, blacked out her windows, tracked her sleep cycles with apps, drank calming teas with names like Moon Rest and Peaceful Nights. She had sprayed lavender mist on her sheets, placed rose quartz under her pillow, and even played white noise that promised to mimic ocean waves or gentle rain in a forest far away. Still, night after night, she lay awake, eyes wide open in the dark, her mind racing, her body tense, her thoughts tumbling over one another like pebbles in a river current. She had taken supplements, then stronger pills, then given them up out of fear of dependence. She had tried bedtime yoga, mindful breathing, gratitude journaling, but rest remained a stranger. So when she heard about the weekend sleep seminar, a program led by a well-known expert in rest and mindfulness, she signed up without hesitation. Maybe this time it would work. Maybe this time she would learn the missing piece. Maybe someone could finally tell her what was wrong and how to fix it. She arrived early on the first morning, notebook in hand, a neat row of pens clipped to the cover. She sat in the front row, her face open with hope and quiet desperation. The room was softly lit, with cushions and mats laid out across the floor. People trickled in slowly, chatting quietly, and she took notes from the first slide, writing down every word the instructor said, even when it was just an introduction. As the hours went on, she raised her hand often, asking about brainwaves and hormone cycles, about supplements and circadian rhythms, about how long to meditate, and what kind of breathing was most effective. The instructor answered each question gently, sometimes with science, sometimes with silence, and she wrote everything down, filling pages with diagrams and underlined phrases, small stars next to anything that sounded promising. At one point, the instructor paused, then smiled and said softly, "Now, let's take 5 minutes to do nothing at all. No writing, no thinking, no trying. Just sit with yourself in silence. Just notice." She hesitated, pen in hand, looking around as everyone else set their pens aside, closed their eyes, and settled into stillness. She kept her eyes open at first, uncomfortable, uncertain. She tapped her fingers against the side of her notebook, glanced again at the clock. 5 minutes could feel so long when you weren't doing anything. She shifted in her seat, cleared her throat softly, and looked around again. Everyone else seemed calm, their chests rising and falling slowly. No one looked like they were trying to solve anything. They weren't chasing rest or demanding answers. They were just being, And in that moment, something inside her began to shift, like a string pulled too tight for too long, suddenly loosening. She realized she had been treating sleep like a task, something to master, something to fix. She had filled her nights with effort and tools and strategies, thinking that if she just did everything right, rest would come. But maybe, just maybe, rest came not when you filled the space, but when you let it be empty. She closed her eyes slowly, uncertainly, letting her hands fall into her lap. The notebook slid quietly off her knees and onto the floor beside her. She didn't try to control her breath, didn't try to count or adjust. She just sat and noticed the hum of the air conditioner, the weight of her body, the way silence didn't ask anything of her. And in that rare stillness, she felt the ache in her chest soften, the chatter in her mind slow, not disappear entirely, but fade into the background, like a radio turned down low. She didn't fall asleep there on the cushion. Not exactly. But she did rest in a way she hadn't in years. A kind of resting that had no goal, no method, no checklist, just presence. When the 5 minutes were up, she opened her eyes and looked around again. The room seemed the same, and yet somehow different. Softer, maybe quieter. And she felt as if she had finally set something down. That night, back in her hotel room, she didn't follow a routine, didn't light a candle or drink any tea. She simply lay in bed, her notebook closed on the nightstand, the room dark and still. And she whispered to herself, without planning to, "I don't need to fix anything," then closed her eyes. She didn't remember falling asleep, only waking with the sun already in the sky, and the sound of birds just beyond the window, her body heavy and warm, her mind quiet. It wasn't magic, not a cure, not a forever fix, but it was a beginning. And sometimes, beginnings come not with effort, but with surrender. She would return home with her notebook, its pages full, but it was the moment of silence, the 5 minutes of doing absolutely nothing. That stayed with her most. Sleep, she now knew, was not something to chase or command, but something to receive. And receiving meant making space. A bowl can only hold water when it's empty, and the mind can only hold sleep when it stops trying so hard to be full. She smiled to herself, and for the first time in a long while, felt like rest might be something she could trust again. Close your eyes gently. Let the world fall away. The lights, the clocks, the voices, the plans. Let them all drift into the background, like clouds passing across a wide sky. Feel the air around you soften. Feel your body resting, supported, safe, and begin to notice the breath moving through you, not changing it, not shaping it, just noticing. With each inhale, imagine a gentle wave entering an empty bowl. With each exhale, imagine it flowing back out. The bowl remains still, open, untouched, just receiving, just letting go. You do not have to carry anything now. Not thoughts, not answers, not what worked or what didn't, not hopes or disappointments. Tonight is not a place for solutions. It is a place for stillness. Let your mind become like a clear, empty vessel, not broken, not lacking, simply open, spacious, ready for whatever rest may come or not come. And even that is okay. You have tried, you have searched, and now you are here, not needing to do more, not needing to figure it out. There is nowhere to go, nothing to fix, no perfect way to be. Let yourself be like the bowl that holds nothing, and in that nothingness becomes full of peace. If a thought comes, greet it softly and let it float away, like a leaf on a stream. You don't need to grasp it. You don't need to follow it. Just return to the breath. Inhale. Feel space. Exhale. Feel release. Inhale. Receive silence. Exhale. Offer silence. You are not your effort, not your struggle, not your expectations. You are simply a presence now, a breath, a heartbeat, a space between thoughts. And in that space, there is something quiet and ancient, the same peace that lives in forests and deep oceans and soft midnight skies. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your belly rise and fall without force. There is nothing to bring into this sleep, not even the desire to sleep. Just this breath, this moment, this open, resting awareness. You are enough as you are, even now, especially now. Even if sleep has not yet come, even if your thoughts still echo, you are already resting because you are no longer trying. Feel the breath again, like wind passing through an open window, like moonlight falling into an empty room. Effortless, quiet, present. No need to hold. No need to control. No need to chase. The bowl does not chase the rain. It simply opens, and that is enough. So open now. Open to the mystery of rest, to the slow dissolving of effort, to the stillness beneath all doing. Let your breath cradle you. Let silence surround you. Let the empty space become your home tonight. You are the bowl, and you are the breath, and you are the quiet in between. Stay here, gently, openly, with no weight, no story, no need. Sleep may come, or it may not, but peace is already here. He hadn't been sleeping since the funeral. Not truly. Not the way a body hopes for rest when the soul has been shaken loose. Each night, he would lie down and close his eyes, only to find them stinging again, dry from too many tears, and yet somehow still wet. The apartment was quieter now, painfully so. No more midnight phone calls from her, just to say something small. No gentle reminder that winter was coming and he should wear a scarf. No voice asking if he'd eaten yet, or if the heater worked. The kind of questions that don't matter until the silence replaces them. And suddenly, they are everything. She had been sick for a while, but even then, her presence had felt solid, woven into the routines of his life like the soft blanket she'd made when he was young, the one he had long lost, but never forgotten. And now she is gone. And he didn't know where to put his hands anymore, what to do with the hours between midnight and dawn, when everything felt hollow and loud. All at once, one evening, in the middle of cleaning out the back of a closet she had kept for decades, he found it, folded between old winter coats and boxes of papers yellowed by time. It was a scarf, woolen, uneven in places, the color slightly faded, but unmistakably hers. She had knitted it during a cold winter long ago, when he had just started school and insisted that red was his favorite color. Even though it wasn't, she had made it anyway. Each stitch carries something more permanent than love, something quieter, steadier. He sat down on the floor, right there, with dust gathering at his feet, and held it in his hands. The weight of it was small, but something in his chest cracked open, and the tears came before he could stop them. Hot, and shaking, and real. No performance in them this time. No pushing them away or holding them in. They fell onto the scarf as he buried his face in it, the wool still smelling faintly of something like home, of drawers that haven't been opened in years, of warmth. He didn't try to dry his eyes. He didn't try to silence the ache in his ribs or steady his breath. Instead, he sat until the weight of everything loosened just a little, until he could finally stand and carry himself to bed. He brought the scarf with him, laid it on the pillow beside him as if she were there, and he whispered, "Oh," just once, not even sure to whom, "I miss you." And that night, for the first time in many weeks, he didn't force himself to sleep. He didn't squeeze his eyes shut or count the hours slipping away. Instead, he let the sorrow lie beside him. Didn't ask it to leave. Didn't ask it to heal. Just let it breathe. And slowly, like the tide returning to shore, something inside him softened. His limbs grew heavier. His breath deeper. And sleep came. Not because the grief had passed, but because he had made room for it. In the days that followed, He kept the scarf near him, not as a cure, not as a solution, but as a reminder that love doesn't disappear. It only changes shape, becomes a scent, a memory, a weight in the palm of your hand, a thread through the night, and grief, too, becomes something different when you stop wrestling with it, when you stop treating it like an enemy to conquer, and instead offer it a chair at the table, a blanket on the bed, a name. It is strange, he thought later, how sleep returned. Not through forgetting, but through remembering, through allowing the sorrow to be part of the room, part of the breath, part of the self. And in that allowing, in that deep and quiet surrender, something opened, something eased, and the night, once unbearable, became something he could finally rest within. Close your eyes gently. Let your shoulders soften and allow your body to rest. Notice where you are holding tension, perhaps in the chest, the throat, or behind the eyes. And without trying to change anything, just become aware, like placing your hand gently on the surface of still water. Now, breathe in slowly, and as you inhale, whisper silently in your mind, "I touch my sorrow." And as you exhale, say softly within yourself, "I smile at it." Let this breath be your first gesture of welcome. You are not here to push anything away, not here to heal quickly or forget. You are here to be with what is already inside you, the ache that comes in waves, the quiet moments that suddenly fill with tears, the memory that rises without warning. Let it all be part of the breath. Breathe in. Feel the air pass through your nose, your chest rising gently, the lungs opening like hands ready to receive. And as you breathe out, feel your body settle, your weight sinking into the support beneath you. Imagine your breath like a hand reaching toward the heart, not to fix, only to be with. Again, inhale slowly. I touch my sorrow. Exhale softly. I smile at it. Even if the smile is small, even if it trembles, let it be a gesture of love, not denial. A smile that says, I see you, and I will stay. With each breath, invite yourself to sit beside your grief, not as something broken, but as something brave, something honest, something deeply human. It is okay to be tender now. It is okay to be tired, to be unsure, to feel like the heart is carrying too much. And still, you are breathing. You are here. And that is enough. Imagine your heart as a space with windows wide open. where sorrow and peace can sit side by side, not one replacing the other, but existing together, gently, quietly. Breathe in. I touch my sorrow. Breathe out. I smile at it. Let the rhythm continue without force. No need to deepen the breath unless it feels natural. Just be present with the motion of life moving through you. Perhaps you feel warmth in the chest or a softness behind the eyes. Let these sensations come and go, like clouds passing across a sky that does not resist them. Your breath is that sky. Your awareness is the open space. And grief is just one of many clouds. It does not define the sky. It only moves across it. Stay with this breath, this moment, this feeling. And if memories come, let them come. If tears rise, let them rise. They are not mistakes. They are your heart speaking. And you are listening. Breathe in. I touch my sorrow. Breathe out. I smile at it. Let this practice be a gentle reminder that you are whole even when hurting, that your sorrow is not separate from your love. It is shaped by it, wrapped in it, carried through time by it. Now, place one hand over your chest if you wish. Feel the beat beneath your palm, steady, alive, still here. This is your anchor, your reminder. You are not lost. You are simply walking through a season of remembering. And it is okay to walk slowly. Breathe in. I touch my sorrow. Breathe out. I smile at it. Let this be your mantra, your prayer, your lullaby in the dark. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes, or rest a little longer. The breath will stay with you, and the sorrow too, but now, perhaps a little softer, a little less alone. He used to eat standing up, sometimes over the sink, sometimes half sitting on the edge of his bed with the laptop open, the blue light glowing against his tired face, the clink of the fork, just another noise among many. Dinner was never a real thing, just a pause between tasks, something quick and forgettable. A means to an end. He never remembered the taste, never paused to notice the smell, the warmth, the act of eating itself. Most nights, he didn't even turn off the kitchen light when he went to bed. The fan buzzed on low. The emails kept coming. And even in sleep, his mind kept reaching for what was undone, unread, unfinished. But that night, something felt different. He came home later than usual, shoulders stiff, thoughts tangled, and for some reason, instead of pulling out leftovers or opening an app to order food, he stepped into the kitchen and opened the fridge. Slowly, with no plan, no urgency. He saw a few vegetables, some rice, an egg, garlic, soy sauce, not much, but enough. He began chopping. The rhythm of the knife against the board quieted his mind, and the scent of garlic warming in oil filled the room. He stirred slowly, not rushing. He added the rice, cracked the egg, listened to the soft sizzle, watched the steam rise. There was something grounding about it. Simple, warm, whole. When it was ready, he scooped it into a bowl, carried it to the table, and for the first time in months, he sat down with his meal. No phone beside him, no screen glowing, no podcast humming in the background, just the soft creak of the chair, the sound of his own breath, and the bowl in front of him. He lifted the spoon, tasted the first bite, and paused, really paused. It was not a fancy meal, not perfect or photogenic, but it was good, warm, salty, comforting. And he felt something strange, a kind of quiet gratitude, not just for the food, but for the moment, for his own hands, for the fact that he had slowed down enough to taste his own life. The room was dim, the night beyond the window, dark and still. And for a long time, he simply ate, spoonful after spoonful, chewing slowly, letting each taste come and go. His shoulders softened, his breath deepened. And when the bowl was empty, he did not rush to clean up. He just sat there, hands resting on the table, feeling something shift inside, like the stillness of a pond after a stone has sunk to the bottom. He didn't try to name it, didn't try to analyze it, just sat with it. Later, he turned off the lights, left the dishes in the sink, walked into his room without checking his email, without scrolling, without needing anything else. He didn't even turn on the fan. The silence was enough. He lay down on the bed, and for the first time in a long while, he felt like the day had ended well. Not because it had been productive, not because he had finished everything, but because he had truly arrived at its end. Whole, nourished, and gently at peace. As he pulled the blanket over his shoulders, he thought about monks, how they ate in silence, how they saw each meal as a sacred act. And for the first time, he understood why. It wasn't about the food. It was about the presence, the attention, the act of being here, fully, without rushing toward the next moment, without trying to escape the one they were in. He realized he had spent years running, even in stillness. His mind had been sprinting, chasing, clinging, fearing, always somewhere else. But tonight was different. He was here, not trying to make sleep happen, not trying to solve anything, just here, like a tree resting in the dark, like a wave returning to the ocean. He placed one hand on his chest and felt the quiet thud of his own heart. And it was enough. No need to measure it. Track it. Improve it. He had eaten a warm bowl of food, sat in silence, and now he was lying down, letting go, not in exhaustion, but in surrender, and slowly, like the sea pulling back from the shore. His thoughts began to loosen. The to-do lists melted. The voices grew faint. And in their place came the softness of the bed, the rhythm of the breath, the memory of warmth still lingering in his belly. Sleep did not need to be chased tonight. It would come. Like dusk always comes. Like tide always returns. And in this stillness, there was no need to do, only to be, only to rest. Because every night is a new chance to let go, to say, I've done what I could. And now I return to silence, not in defeat, but in peace, like closing a door gently behind you, like turning out the last light with care. He had lived this one day, not perfectly, but wholly, and now he would sleep, without striving, without fear, without noise, just one breath, and another, until even the breath became quiet, and the body softened completely into the dark. Close your eyes now. Gently bring your attention to the breath. In and out. In and out. Like waves touching the shore and receding again. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands rest loosely by your sides or on your lap. Begin to settle into this moment, into this body, into this breath. Now, quietly, begin to look back on your day, not to judge, or fix, or replay, but simply to see, like watching a film in slow motion. Let the moments come, one by one. The way you woke up, the first light through the window, the taste of your breakfast, the things you said, the things you didn't say, the people you met, the small frustration, the gentle joys. Let them appear like clouds passing through a vast sky, not holding on to any of them, just noticing, letting them be. And as you see them, one after another, softly whisper to yourself, thank you. Thank you for this day, for whatever it brought. Thank you for the breath that carried me, for the body that held me, for the chance to live one more day, even if it wasn't perfect, even if there were mistakes or misunderstandings. Thank you for trying. Thank you for showing up. Breathe in and say gently in your mind, I see this day. Breathe out and say, I let this day go. Again, I see this day. I let this day go. Like leaves floating down a stream. Like the sky turning from gold to indigo. You don't have to hold it anymore. You don't have to keep carrying what's already gone. If there is anything you wish had gone differently, anything left unresolved, let your breath wrap around it like a soft cloth. Acknowledge it and say, I forgive this. I release this. I trust that it too can rest now. Nothing more to fix. Nothing more to do. Feel the stillness growing inside you. The way twilight settles over the world. The way even the trees seem to exhale when the sun disappears behind the horizon. And in that stillness, notice how your breath continues without effort. Your heart beats without asking. Your body knows how to rest, how to return to quiet. Inhale gently and feel the weight of the day lift from your chest. Exhale slowly and feel the ground beneath you holding you completely. You don't need to do anything else. Not tonight. Not right now. This moment is enough. This breath is enough. Think of the sky at dusk, how it does not cling to the light, how it lets the colors shift, how the last rays soften into stars. You too can let go. You too can soften. Nothing is lost. Only changed. Only carried forward in new ways. And now, resting in this space, whisper one last time to your heart, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for carrying it all. And now, dear heart, you may rest. Let the breath deepen. Let the thoughts quiet. Let the whole day float away like clouds in the evening wind until there is only you and the night and this gentle peace holding you just as you are. Now gently come back to your body, not to do anything, but simply to feel. Notice how your breath has slowed, how your chest rises and falls like quiet waves meeting the shore. There's nothing more you need to understand. You don't have to think through what was said. You don't have to solve anything tonight. Just let the message rest inside you, like a small stone sinking to the bottom of a still pond. No ripples, just settling. Remember, when the mind is calm, sleep comes naturally. You don't need to force it. You only need to let go. Gently, kindly. The way leaves fall in autumn, the way clouds drift across the evening sky. Take a soft breath in. Begin to notice your forehead. Let it soften. Let the space between your eyebrows widen, like the sky opening after a long day. Let that ease move down to your eyes, resting in their sockets. Nothing to see now, just darkness. Just rest. Soften your jaw. Soften your mouth. Let your tongue settle behind your teeth. Allow your throat to relax. Feel the release moving into your shoulders, heavy and warm. Let gravity take them. There is no need to carry anything tonight. Feel the release move down through your arms, elbows, wrists, hands, all the way to your fingertips. Loosening, loosening. Now, your chest and belly, let them rise and fall without effort. The breath knows what to do. You don't have to help it. Feel the back soften, from the upper spine all the way down, vertebrae by vertebrae. A quiet unraveling. Let the hips be heavy, grounded, supported. Your thighs, your knees, your calves, even your ankles. Let them all sink into the surface beneath you. And finally, your feet, your toes, completely at ease. Imagine a gentle breeze brushing over your skin, or the sound of water flowing far in the distance, soft and steady. Maybe the glow of moonlight resting at the edge of your bed. There is nothing you need to hold now. Not a thought, not a worry, not even a plan for tomorrow. Let it all float, like petals on a stream, carried by something wiser than you, something that always knows where to go. You are safe. You are still. You are here. Breathe in slowly. Say silently, I am at peace. Breathe out slowly. Say, I am home. Let the silence grow deeper now. Not empty, but full of rest. Let your breath move on its own, without you watching it. Let your body dream, even before sleep arrives. You've done enough. You've carried enough. And now, you deserve to rest. Good night, dear soul. May your dreams be kind, and your sleep will be deep. You are not alone, not forgotten, not broken. You are loved. You are resting, and you are free.